not.
Your approach and like everybody else's approach. I feel like
I
Steph said,
understand.
it's huh? No, I say your approach
sorry.
and like how Steph said. I feel like it's just based on personality. But I feel like if you're just straight up and honest in the beginning for both, so at least nobody's surprised when something happens, and I feel like it is what it is. Then I guess.
So that's a recommendation we can leave for people watching. Just be straight up and honest with people during your date.
I just
If
feel
you
like
find dating the way I do.
I just feel like people just don't be having these conversations. Like, who has the time to be like, oh well,
Right.
like why? I apologize.
Right.
I'm very. I just feel like it's
That's
too much.
what I'm
and
saying.
it's too formal for me to be like, oh well, if I don't want to talk to you no more, I'm not talking to
It's
you
not
no
too
more.
That's why I
formal
said
because
I
I've
dating,
never met
if you're
anybody
dating
that
one
does
person,
Is it my obligation to tell you that I talking to more than one person? No,
It
that's my
is.
business.
It
I
is.
feel
No,
like
That's
so.
my business.
That's why I said
It is your obligation.
exactly what
It
Shanae
is their
said.
business because
That's
you're
my
involved with them in
business.
a
I
sense.
no,
never
but
met
they're involved
nobody.
with you. So to me, for honesty purposes, you should let the person or let that person decide whether they want to stay and have a conversation with you, knowing that you are talking to multiple people,
But Acacia,
or if they want to find somebody else. Right?
just like Shanae just said, nobody. I've never met anybody that's ever said I'm talking to who X and X who and all these other people. I have never
But
met,
that's
and she just said
that don't
she
mean
has
that
no
it don't
obligation to.
happen.
Well, I apologize to those people I wasn't honest with. I mean, I just
So
never
you
had
just
that.
cut the conversation. You just ghost people.
Put some in.
I don't ghost you. It's just if you see our conversation going in a different manner, then you should know what's up. You're making it have sense.
So I am
No,
bad
but you see,
because I'm
Shanae,
actually telling you I don't want to be with you versus well the conversation is there, so I just will start replying here.
Yeah.
If the conversation is not the same that it was before, then you should know that you're not even on the same wavelength no more. It's just not what it is anymore.
So once you done have a conversation with that person,
because no, listen, my thing is we don't say, oh well, me, you talking. They making no type of sense in my head, like none at all. It's never that formal. You just vibe and you go. So if you see the conversation is dwindling down, then we're not talking no more. I don't gotta tell you me talking with you no more. That's it. It's done. Okay. I apologize if I'm being harsh. I just think
no, this is your opinion, and so if it's your opinion, it's your opinion.
I agree with it.
You agree with that opinion, Sam?
Yeah, I agree with that opinion because I'm like in the real
I agree
world.
with both.
I don't ever met nobody that act like that.
So
yeah,
one thing.
Who
you
talk to you
I'm with you. Like
you have to tell the person you don't want to talk to them no more.
Y'all on this thing talking about you don't want to let people down, but then you ghost them.
Tell people.
I didn't say nothing about ghosting. I said absolutely nothing about ghosting.
So okay, you guys have a ghosting, but then you're saying that you're not messaging the person anymore. So isn't that ghosting?
If the conversation is not going in a certain manner anymore. If I'm not sending you good morning, good afternoon, and good night, if I'm not asking you what you eating or what you doing, if you got homesick, then you know what it is. You're big and you have sense. This should be the name of big.
But Shanae,
some don't have sex though.
Exactly. Because what happens when you're in a committed relationship now? And you know sometimes get committed to No, I'm asking you. In a committed relationship, sometimes it don't always be peaches and cream. Sometimes you may have a bad patch where you're not checking up on each other like you usually would. Will you then tell your partner, well, the conversation that induces?
Well, that's different because that's somebody that I'm committed to. And that's somebody that even if we haven't said it, we have an understanding that you're my person, I'm your person, and this is something that we're working on. If I'm not committed to you, then I don't owe you nothing. I don't have to tell you.
So I'm obligated to tell people I talking to other people? That's a thing?
I'm not saying you're obligated. I'm saying that this is my approach. And I'm saying for honesty, and because there's a lot of crazy people out in the world.
You're not obligated.
Let's say you in a mall, they see you in a mall with a girl, and the next thing you know, they turn up in the mall with a gun and they're shooting up the mall now because
so that's my thing.
Them, you was talking to multiple people.
That's my
no,
thing.
I don't get shot because you know if you see me out. Mm-hmm. This was the dude I was telling you I was talking to. You know?
I would say you're obligated. So that's my thing. That's why I was saying there's pros and cons to everything because I would say you're obligated. If you want to take that approach and talk to multiple people, you put yourself at risk of having a toxic reaction when you just leave. I'm gonna say you ghosting them because I feel like you're saying it. They're supposed to know, but some people really just don't know. They're really oblivious, And if they're oblivious, that's who they are. And
Yeah, that's why I asked the question about a committed relationship.
That's what it is. They're just oblivious.
There are some people who are not necessarily like conversational people, so they might see the conversation you guys are having while we're dying down, and then they get nothing because they was only trying because they like you. So then what do you do in that case where they don't mind if the conversation dies down? Because
I'm not even trying to be funny. If you see the conversation going in a different way, how you gonna think me you still talking at the same level? Not making any type of sense. Not making any
Some people
if me you used to go to talking to 5 a.m. to 12 a.m., right? And then we only talking from 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. Me, you still on the same level? No.
They be glazed over.
Some people do not have that IQ.
Some people really be oblivious, and so I think that's why it's important to have honest conversations. Because you guys think who sits down and talks about those things. But if you want to get into a committed relationship with somebody, you can talk.
But that's what I'm saying.
And
you just said it. If you want to get into a committed relationship, if I don't want to be with you, I don't gotta tell you nothing. It's clear.
But if you want to get in the committed
relationship, wait.
No, I'm just saying if she wants to get it, huh?
Have you done this before, Stefan?
Have I done one?
Have you told anybody you've been talking to other people before?
People that I talk to?
Yeah, have you ever done that?
No.
I've never taken that approach.
Okay.
I have done it.
I've never taken that approach. No, but that's what I'm saying. No. I don't take that approach. I don't talk to
if they do.
I've done it. I've been open and honest. I am talking to you and I'm talking to X. Are you talking
that's
to
the thing.
anyone? The response was yes, I am talking to you and I'm talking to X as well. I said fine. I didn't think anything. And then after a while, the conversation went on and we were like, okay. I am vibing with you more than I am vibing with X. So I'm going to stop talking.
And so you tell X, oh well, we not doing this no more.
I think you should.
I just left it alone.
I think you should because you don't want to be in this committed relationship and then this person is still texting you on the side. I'm saying if you move off from the one that you don't want to be with, you should say, okay, this has to stop now because I'm not.
Scenario, it wasn't like I no longer want to talk to you because in my scenario, it's not like I didn't say, well, I no longer want to talk to you, whatever. We just started having different conversations.
Okay.
So the conversations but we would just talk about other stuff that we were still interested in. We don't check up on one another.
Talking about different things that mean we're not going in that direction. That is exactly what I said. So you're still advocating for something that y'all don't even practice. That's
we can practice it. We're trying to educate
advocating for
you just said.
Even if we haven't done it, it's better to have a conversation with the person. Just be straight up with the person.
Who's the younger generation?
I'm gonna teach my nieces and nephews.
No. I'm telling you, you need to tell them. You need to have that conversation.
I agree with that.
Why you didn't tell your people? The same people that you were saying. Why
here's the thing.
You've had multiple chances to do it so far.
Because I never took that approach. When I said I never took that approach. No. When I said I never took that approach, I meant I never talked to multiple people at once. If I'm talking to one person, I'm talking to one person.
One person, right? That's what I do.
So that's what I'm saying. But the situation is if you're talking to multiple people. If I was ever in that situation where I was talking to multiple people, yes, I'm telling them because it's also a fact of respect. How would you feel if you were in that position, right? And you think, and you may not have the conversational IQ to know the conversation's dying. Some people just don't even they don't.
That's what I'm saying. Some people have no conversation. So the conversation is dying. They don't think it's
so. How do you
that? Having conversation not a big deal to them in the relationship. Maybe their love language might be I guess quality time, maybe gifts. So if you're doing something else, they might be like, oh, let's find out we don't talk all the time because you might buy me breakfast or something one day.
So you would formally say,
let me give
hey
you,
John, I'm just not feeling this no more. Don't talk to me.
It's hard to join somebody I'm not feeling you anymore.
You saying that?
No, I'm saying it's hard to just tell somebody, but you have to be honest because you don't want to be.
I guess he's asking how you would say it. I guess
how you say it. How do you say it?
Well, in my case, I just literally switched the conversation, so we were no longer talking.
Right. That's what Shanae's saying to do. But how are you supposed to let somebody actually know the formal way? How you trying to say it?
Because we can't talk anymore. Bye.
Yeah.
No, but that's what Shanae was just saying.
Or just. It could be hard, but it needs to be. It has to be done.
Because you can't drag them along.
Leave the person on. So you have to just be like, "Yo, I understood that we were talking for a couple of weeks, so we've been talking for a month, but I'm no longer feeling it." And it doesn't even have to be if you're talking to multiple people, because sometimes you could be in a situation where you're talking to one person and you don't see that person anymore. What do you do in that situation? You have to let that person know, "Yo, we've been talking. It's you and me alone. We've been talking to one another. I wasn't even talking to multiple people. But I no longer feel this. I no longer have the same interest." Because the physical attraction is one thing, and then when you get to know the person, you realize like, okay, all they got going for them is the looks. They don't have anything else to offer. In that situation,
the person, I don't like your face. I don't like your personality, so we can't. Like that ain't making no type of sense to me.
That's what I was saying.
You don't say I don't like. You don't say it like that. You just be like, yo, we had a good couple of months, but I think we will be better. You can say that could be better. You can say, I don't see us being in a committed relationship. We'd be better off as friends. So you don't have to be specific and be like, oh, well, your face nice, but your personality stinks. You heard how nice I said that? We can be friends.
I just want to stay friends occasionally. That works?
Yeah, you just want to stay friends. I'm a lit friend. You can ask anyone to be friends. I'm a lit friend. Go, Seth.
My thing is, so here's I want to propose a scenario in regards to this. Let's say you're at your job, right? And the dude who you were talking to, one of the dudes that you're talking to, you eat lunch with them every day, right? And you are also texting them every day. This is for Shanae. You see them at your job, and you guys go lunch together, lunch all the time. You don't think nothing of this lunch. And when you go home, you guys are texting from 5 to 2 o'clock. Wake up early. You're on the train. You say good morning, goodbye, and you're also talking to John, Jack, and Gary on the side, right? Mm-hmm. Now, every day you're going to work. You're still having lunch with this person, but you're also you basically stop texting them, right? But you see them at work. Now, in a scenario like that, if a guy. Yes, you stop texting them when you're going to lunch with, but you still kept going on lunch with them because that's just what you've been doing. In a scenario like that, where the guy perceives that the relationship is built off of going to this lunch and not really the texting conversation, like he can perceive his mind and say like, well, she's just busy at home, she's doing this, but I still see her at work and we're still having lunch together by ourselves. Versus you're not really putting any thought or emphasis on saying that this lunch is that important. Now, in a scenario where you don't actually physically with your mouth tell them what the status of everything is, you can create a miscommunication where you think he knows everything is, we're good. It's not like that. We're just chilling as friends at lunch.
Were you guys flirting?
Right. Versus he's over there thinking, huh? Sorry?
Did they flirt at all?
Made up scenario.
So, yeah, sure. Let's say let's say he does flirt, but you don't really you take off as
you
like,
don't receive
he's
the
just doing
flirt.
what he normally does. You don't see it like that because that's what he's always normally done. Mm-hmm.
This is why we said it's a made-up scenario because this would never be a situation that Shanae is in. First of all, I love me some food. If me you going to lunch every day, then I must like you bad. If we going to lunch every day and I'm having you in my space, and we eating food and you watching me eat and chew and all them things, then me you for lifers, right? That's all I gotta say. John, Gary, whoever else, I'm sorry. You're not taking me to lunch. Who paying?
So,
I'm just saying.
So in that scenario,
it wouldn't be me.
You just. But if you put yourself in that,
if I was in that situation, then all I have to do is tell the person I'm busy. I can't make it to lunch. If after 2 weeks I'm telling you I can't come to lunch no more, you're big and you have sense. Get it together, abstinence. That's all I have to say.
No, they don't have sense though. That's what we're telling you. They don't have sense.
Well, he gotta
So
have
those
that.
have
I
sense.
can't deal with
You should
somebody
throw
that
the
thinks
scenario
that
at
You
Sarah.
have
he's going
those
up with my
Sarah.
work. This
What
after
is
the
her
second
Hold
week
on.
for lunch, I'm gonna have to close the beauty.
You should
Why
throw
you
this
coming
scenario.
here?
You see,
Why
You
you
should throw
coming
this.
here?
but you see what you did. But what you did, you put the burden on them. You said they have to know. Why can't
So
you
fine.
just say
If
it?
after
Exactly.
You
But
But
put
then,
the burden on
it's
them.
just
You
like,
expect
yo,
them to
I
say it.
we
say,
hold on. If me, you going to lunch every week for a month, and then after a while, every day I tell you me want to go to lunch with you no more, you gonna feel like I don't want to be with you. You have to have some type of sense. I feel like even the most dumb person will understand that this is not working no more. Because all of a sudden, why am I ghosting you?
But if they
well, because
continue
what
to
if he
ask
thinks
you and
something wrong
ask
with
you
you?
Then
whenever
I
you're
don't.
available, let's go, aren't you gonna say eventually,
I'm
okay,
not available.
we're not doing this
I'm not
anymore?
available.
So you're gonna continue to say, I'm not
It'd be like,
available.
yo, we've been having lunch for a couple of weeks, but I no longer am interested in doing that with you.
I'm not
We can
available.
still be friends,
I'm
but we
busy.
won't
I got
having
schoolwork.
intimate
So
time.
you
You
you'd
could
rather
run
be
into a
pestered week
crazy
after
man where
week.
you don't say
Exactly,
nothing,
because
and
a
he
lot
can
of
like
crazy
go for you and
men
being
are
weird.
Even now, in Jesus' name, I'm not gonna meet up with the lunch dude because he doing the most in all
Just
scenarios.
the
That's
other
all
day
I
on
gotta say.
Instagram. Just the other day on Instagram, there was a guy who asked a girl out. She was with her friends, and
Yeah.
he didn't know them. He asked her out, and
I saw that
she said
video.
something like no, I believe. I, you saw that, and then literally he met them for like 15, 20 seconds, and he crashed his car into their car. Like,
Then he
there's
took out a
crazy
gun.
people out here
Yeah, the
that
I
psycho people.
saw
You
the
gotta
one where
be
he took
straight
out a
up.
gun first,
Yeah, he
and he
took
was
out a
kind of
gun
like,
and started
something
shooting
he
up the whole
did.
place.
yeah,
What you see? I covered with the blood of Jesus,
But
so
amen.
I'm not gonna run into
but
them
see,
situations.
that's what I'm
That's all.
saying. Like, but how do you know that you wouldn't? Nobody ever
How are
wakes
you
up that
doubting the
morning and
You
says
blood
they're
gotta
of
gonna
take
Jesus?
fuck.
That's
preemptive
a real
measures to make sure
question.
you
Should
don't.
I be
That's
doing
the real
this?
question.
But
That's
but
the real question.
my thing is,
All right.
you cannot also just dive off a bridge and say the blood of
So
Jesus
what's
is
the
gonna
problem,
protect you.
Stefan?
You cannot say that. The
So
What's the
he's
problem
problem?
trying
is,
to say, if
I
you're with this person, how do you let the person know that you're no longer interested? To me, it's
you
just
need
let
to
them know you're
tell
not
him. You
interested. Of
need
course, feelings are going to be hurt because nobody wants to be in a position where you might be feeling a person
right.
and that person. But you even have that fear even in a committed relationship, because you could be in a committed relationship for 5, 6 years, and then one day the person just wakes up and they're like, I'm no longer feeling. So it can happen at any stage. It can even happen in your marriage. Some people married long and then their husband or wife is like, I no
It
longer want to,
happens.
or this is no longer working for
It
me.
happens.
So what happens of course, marriage is a very big
It's
step. So that
different.
needs to have
Exactly.
multiple conversations and situations. But I feel like you should just be honest with the person, be honest with your feelings.
The obligations are different if you're in a committed relationship or if you're married, and you guys need to see the bridge, and you guys need to understand.
So in dating,
anytime you're making, I'm not done. Anytime you're making a comparison, you always say, okay, what happens if you're in a committed relationship? What happens if you're married? That's the difference. You're in a committed relationship. You made a connection with this
you guys
person.
a question.
So it's different. If I don't want to be with you no more after we together, then I'm gonna tell you that I don't want to be with you anymore because we're in a committed relationship and I owe you that much. But if you just take me to lunch, then.
So you were saying in dating, you have no obligation to let the person know when you're no longer interested in them anymore.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, you always hear stories of when a girl
Do you
went on a date
yourself
with a
feel that way,
guy.
vice versa? Like if a dude did that to you?
No, dude,
Yeah.
that's me. This is Sinead. This is Sinead.
No. Answer the
What's my
question.
That's all I gotta say. Y'all don't come for me in the comments, by the way, please. And thanks. That's all I gotta say, though. But here's the thing. I beg and I have sense. If you start to treat me differently, then I'm going to know that you're not feeling me the same way, and I'm going to pull back.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right. I agree with that. But my thing is, some people don't have sense as well. It's
That's not my
easier,
fault.
and it's safer. It's safer for you to just say, "Hey, listen, not gonna
yeah,
work
just be
out."
honest.
Communication is also a part of being mature in a relationship. Communication is very important because, again, like Kay's been saying, if you you're married later on the line, you're not gonna just wake up and just leave and move out and then say, well, I don't gotta tell you nothing. And
people know some
there's
people
a difference
have
between
that. I've heard of
marriage
situations
and
where
but I keep saying
some
that
people
it's
do
different
that.
in those types of
And some
relationships.
no, some people have. I've heard of a situation in marriage
right,
where the woman
but
went home and when she looked in the closet, her husband closed the down.
Who was that?
I'm
marriage is
obviously
a
not
So
gonna say
committed
that's
that.
the biggest
relationship, even though
gaff
a committed
because who?
relationship is not a marriage.
It's
Even
no, but
though
the
a
situation
committed
I'm talking about, it
relationship is
wasn't a
not a
marriage.
marriage, a committed relationship. Okay, right. Okay, so that's
It
Oh
fine.
can
my
happen though. That's
lord.
what I'm trying to. It was rough, but it can happen.
Right,
Unfortunately,
right, right.
Well, my insurance is Jesus, so I think I'm good.
amen. The blood of Jesus, right?
But
Right?
like,
All right, all right.
y'all hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
I was
Yeah, we
trying
hear
to
you.
say, y'all don't ever hear them stories about girls who go on dates with guys and then the date went horribly wrong because he did something and they just never come back or they just dip. Y'all hear stories
I've
like
heard.
that?
I've heard of stories that where they would eat through the bathroom.
That's how it happened. I just want to talk to you again.
Right.
Right. That just puts people in an like if you feel like if you're in those situations, if you feel like you're in danger, that's different. But I feel like where you just those situations. I've heard stories where there's like a number in a bar. The girls go to the bathroom and the bartender will like sneak you out the back door and stuff like that, and the guy's just left there hanging. Like that puts a guy
No,
in an
I think in
uncomfortable
those
situation.
cases, some of the
Now,
men could
when
be
you
like creeps, so the girls are being protected.
Right, so that's what I said. If you feel like you're in danger, that's different, right? If you feel like you're in danger, you need to get out. Just get out. I'm
Yeah.
not advocating for you to put yourself in more danger. But when I'm talking about situations where girls feel like this is not going to work out, and he's he's a loser. He's not going to work out, and they just feel they have no care what
You
what
might
his
not necessarily
emotions
be
are like.
like a loser. Some people just suck.
Right. They're just not. Yeah, but they're not feeling him anymore. That puts a guy that attacks a guy, right? Like most people don't really understand like how that guys have emotions because again, it's people are taught where guys are just a stone wall, but guys are not. Guys only become stone walls because they're forced to become stone walls, where they're forced to not have emotions, and then later on in life. When you meet multiple guys, you wonder why he's this way and why so and so is this way. This one, I have personal friends who are like, I would say they're the greatest guys as friends. But when it comes to women, they don't treat women like they treat them like meat, and that's because of their previous experience with other girls, how they were treated. They were treated like they don't matter. So
So that's not a problem with them?
But then they don't break the
you can
cycle.
say it's foolishness, but I'm saying,
No, it is because then who breaks
right,
the
that's what I'm
cycle?
saying.
Who
So
is like, I was
but
hurt, so I will not hurt.
Exactly.
Right.
Because I don't understand. And I was gonna say there's some dudes you break up with them in the 5th grade, and all of a sudden they got a cold as heart. You need to get it together. You're big and have sense.
Exactly.
For yourself.
To me, I understand
right,
people
but
can be hurt. People can be hurt, but I don't think it's fair to hurt people who have not hurt you. Like let's say, especially in dating, you meet a stranger, so you just treat this girl like a dog because I'm not a girl, and she had nothing to do with this. I think that's unfair.
That's foolishness. And you deserve to be alone.
That's true. You can say you can say that. That's true. You can say that. And there are some people that have been hurt and do protect that. They break the cycle. But then why should he have went through that? My question to you would be, why should he have went through that? You
It's
can
not
say
his
sorry and all
fault that
that,
he went
but
through that, but he can control
I understand why he can say, why did I go through that? But if you're meeting, let's say you had a bad relationship and then you come and you meet me. It is not my fault that the young lady before me treated you like crap. Give me a fair and honest chance to show you who I am. Don't just jump into the relationship and be like, oh, well, this girl was a dog, so I will just perceive any other girl I am with is a dog, and then I will treat her bad. Because then you are now scarring this girl. And then she goes and she maybe start treating other men like dogs. Right, and then everybody she meets and treat bad, he start treating. So then where does the cycle break? Who is raising healthy humans then? If you're just a bunch of hurt people running around in society.
So that's why you're right, and that's why I say I think it's just better to just have to be communicative. Just tell them like this is not going to work out. Instead of just leaving them hanging.
You should be no big type of hurt. That's regular.
Like, but the thing is,
That's regular. That's regular. Because I don't understand. And I will tell you, you should be no big type of hurt. That's regular. Because I don't understand why he can say why did I go through that. But if you're meeting, let's say you had a bad relationship and then you come and you meet me, and then you come and you treat me like a dog, so I will just perceive any other girl I am with is a dog, and then I will treat her bad. Because then you are now scarring this girl. And then everybody she meets and treat bad, he start treating. So then where does the cycle break? Who is raising healthy humans then? If you're just a bunch of hurt people running around in society.
You're right, and that's why I say I think it's just better to just have to be communicative. Just tell them like this is not going to work out. Instead of just leaving them hanging.
But
Pick up yourself, dust
I've
yourself off.
if I've been talking to you for
that is not no big
six,
type
if I've been
not
talking for 6
everybody
months,
can
week
pick
hurt.
themselves off. It doesn't off. Somebody will take that to heart.
That
and
is one
they will
week
run
hurt.
with
That's
it.
all I gotta say. You should.
Say you cannot put a
stuff
time
does have
limit
a
and
point.
how
If somebody
people
listen
hurt.
to me, if you're not even dating this person too, y'all just gaffing. Oh, look what happened to me. And I stop talking to you, you gonna and hurt the rest of the girl because I stop talking.
No, it could be different. Here's why. Here's why it could be different. And I'm gonna tell you why. From a scenario of myself with friends who particular person had liked a person for a very, very, very long time, and then they finally got the opportunity to be with that person. What happens then if that person, you're in the dating phase, so you wanted this person for years, you never had the guts or whatever, and then this person now decides, yes, I want to date you. If the other person like, well, I don't want to date you, after they've mustered up this courage for years, that person could be very hurt because they felt like this is something that they've been training for their whole life. They finally get the chance. It's like Olympics. You've been training for 3.5 years. The fourth year you come, you're trying to make Tokyo, and then you fall down on the track and you don't make it and you cry and you hurt. So people can be hurt in the talking phase. It depends on the scenario. And there's so many different scenarios.
Anybody put you in that situation where for 3 years they're running behind you. I's not a golf man that's they're running with them bag behind you. Whatever they call it. Put it in the comments. I'm not that person. So get it together. 3 years I run behind you. It ain't gonna work.
There are some people who do that. There are some people.
I'm saying you shouldn't allow anybody to do that to you because clearly that person don't care about
you.
But
the problem
needs to grow. That ain't making no type of sense.
But there is relationships where people do be chasing for 3 years and they pop off and now they married after he was running for 3
You're right,
years.
exactly. So, you never know.
You
never know.
Exactly. Don't make me chase. First of all, I'm not even chasing, but I'm just saying.
Perseverance, boy.
Don't let nobody. No. That's my thing. That's all.
You see, my thing is, Shani, you're talking. I feel like you're talking from the perspective of somebody who never has to really be the one to approach guys, right?
That's not true. I beg and I have sense, and I learn from my mistakes. I learn from my.
Right, so if you,
I'm talking from experience.
Have you ever been led on by a guy? Has a guy ever for example, like you said, you were talking to the guy at 2:00 at night about some project. You said, did that work out? What was that like?
No.
Was that did you
this is why I said some people. Anyways, don't even let me go there. Don't even let me go there. There wasn't meant to be.
The reason I asked that.
The Lord said that I was supposed to jump.
No. The reason
I didn't get on the boat. But I was fine. I wasn't on big time.
The reason I asked that is because if you. Right, so then I would say you weren't even really that invested in it in the first place. Then
that's
because
not
there are some people who
that is not true. That is
definitely not true. And I'm so happy that my sister saying it because she was experiencing with me. That does not mean that. That does not mean that. I just gotta pick myself up and dust myself off. And because you want to right?
Well, if you wasn't affected, you wouldn't have to pick yourself up and dust off.
I wasn't affected as much. I'm not gonna say, because you don't want to talk to me. I'm gonna shut myself off from the rest of the world. It's plenty of them.
And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people like to base their lives off of the opinions of. So let's say you were talking to somebody, and multiple people know, and then this person you no longer talking. Everybody that know y'all was talking, know y'all no longer talking. Some people will be hurt, and you might not see them. Other people, they can start flossing on the gram. They're talking to another guy. Why? Because they want to show society or whoever is looking that, hey, I am fine. And some people are like that. Some people, they can deal with their emotions better than others. Some people, it might take, let me say I'm talking to a guy for 6 months. It might take me a week to get over the fact that we're no longer talking. Right. For him, it might take longer. It doesn't mean that he was more invested than I am. It just means that I was able to handle my emotions better. I understand that. I have a goal at the end. So I guess if you know you have a goal is to be with somebody, like, okay, this didn't work. But I can't stay inside because if my goal is to be with someone, then if I'm inside and down, then that goal will never be accomplished. So I don't think it's a case where you're not invested as that person. You just deal with situations differently, and that's quite fine. Everybody don't have to cry and weep and depressed. Some people you just like, okay, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. What's next?
I just want to say, since we already in my business, I believe that person was in a relationship at the time. I just didn't know. So that's it. I just wasn't informed, but
Right. So, but wouldn't it not have been nice for him to tell you earlier on?
No. Yeah, that was somebody that I was talking to. That wasn't somebody that I was talking to. That's somebody that I was trying to shoot my shot at. I didn't know that person was in a relationship at the time. So then, how am I supposed to know not to shoot my shot at you? It wasn't like me and Sarah was talking and having all these big conversations. Oh, I like you, you cute. It wasn't all of that. I was just testing the waters, and Mercy said no, and that's it.
Okay, right, but that's what I'm saying. But so my point being is though, like, if you've ever really been like, if somebody's ever really done you dirty, like down and dirty,
Nobody
like you
did me
put
dirty.
a
But
lot
doing
into
you dirty is different from somebody no longer being interested in you.
Your viewpoint on things changes dramatically. How you view things changes dramatically.
But that's different from if somebody says, I no longer want to have this type of conversation with you versus somebody doing you dirty. We talking about people who just like,
I feel like I have been done dirty before and it didn't really do much to me. I very much chilling. I very much happy. So that's all I gotta say.
Well, it's good to overcome. That's important.
Exactly. And
Jesus, it's good
She a fighter.
to overcome and push through your dating. Amen. Like a pass off, right? So, has everybody something want to say?
Yes.
Any final words, comments, questions, concerns? No?
No, I'm chilling. Sarah?
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you guys.
But I think Shanae's full of it.
Oh, Lord. Well, we can have a song. Let's end.
People start with me. You don't want to smoke. You don't want to smoke.
That's part two.
No, I'm already going to cut this because it's long. I'm going to cut it in half. But I want to thank you guys for coming on again. Viewers, leave your comments, questions, concerns, whatever in the comment section. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section below about dating, your preferences, your definition, what you understand by it, what you would and would not accept in dating, and your committed relationships. I want to thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Look forward to more episodes.
Leave a thumbs up.
Yes, leave a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Please, before we end the video, just shout out your IG handles again so people will. And I'll also link them in the description bar below. Go, Sam.
I'm Samuel again. My IG handle is Sam Got Bass.
Sarah Lee.1053.
S4Hs._.NA.
4 H's, boy. Stefan, yo, Steph 6, the number 6.
Sam.
Contemplating, but I think it's 97 Savage 97. Don't quote me.
And of course, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on my personal page, Rafik Keziah, RAFEKEZIA, or you can follow this channel's Instagram page, the KayKaySlays Online Show on Facebook or Instagram. And if you would like to collaborate, then send me an email at KayKaySlays24@gmail.com. So until next time, this is me with my gang, and we are saying peace out.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.